yesterday was perhaps the best display she's ever had, not only here at South Carolina, but in her entire career. 4 blocks felt like more, and 2 steals in that game to go along with her 9 points, to go along from shooting 4 of 6 from the field. She's becoming a more well-rounded, all-around player, which is making her that much more attractive to the next level in WNBA, which I think she's like the number 9 projected overall pick as of right now. So she's going to have a chance at the next level, and a lot of that is because she's come here and made herself a better overall basketball player under Dawn Staley's tutelage. And she's going to be a valuable part of this team for the next, hopefully, 4 games going forward as well. And again, good to see that yesterday with Tina Pau and this entire team picking up another win and advancing to yet another Sweet 16. Hoping what you saw over the weekend for Gamecock baseball was just a dream and not actual reality. Unfortunately, I have to break the news to you that yes, indeed, that did happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas, as they dropped to 1-5 in conference play and 1-8 against ranked opponents so far this year. Trying to find the stories of the team this spring. And the overarching story, I guess, is the fact that we don't know a lot about this team, quite frankly. You got a really good quarterback. You've got a really good edge pass rusher. You've got some promise at the wide receiver room, which we'll get to in a moment. You've got some guys that are going to be asked to do more in the running back room. You've got a lot of new faces at offensive line, offensive tackle, linebacker. Defensive back, though, those guys a little bit more proven than some of the others. And, and also you're replacing all your specialists. So there you go. There's all the questions you have on this team, just to name a few. And, again, we're not going to learn everything over the course of a month of spring practice and one spring game coming up on April the 18th. But if we can start to piece together an idea of who's going to step up, who's going to start, and all those kind of things as we head in to the long off season of summer, then that will kind of help us craft together what this team's going to be when the fall rolls around, and hopefully being able to, if not replicate, improve on what you did a season ago with the 9-win mark, and of course being on the bubble for the college football playoff in the process as well. My perception of time, now that I'm like actually out of school and just doing this over and over again, day after day, which I love, by the way. I'm struggling to remember how long ago things were now. I'm like, that was either a month ago or 7 months ago.
Well, because I'll use the magic term, the other day.
Yes.
And the other day can be
anything.
3 days ago. It could be 3 months ago. I'll say the other day, just like when I'm talking with Mira, like in conversation, we'll talk about something and he'll be like, yeah, remember I told you that the other day? She goes, Elijah, that was like in December.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, couldn't tell me.
I was talking about women's basketball and the UConn loss earlier. I'm like, a couple months ago. That was last month. That was in February. But it feels like forever ago now.
It does. Especially when, the longer the days you work too, the more it kind of blends together. Like even the SEC tournament, which of course, like when you're there and the games, start in the middle of the day and they end well after midnight, and heaven forbid one game go to double overtime, your whole week, you're like, when you're on air, you're kind of thinking, did I say that on yesterday's show or today's show? Because my concept of time has been completely blurred. And your favorite team that you've been watching since you were a kid, losing to a 12 seed in the second round and the best year that they've had, that Maryland has had in decades. Like, they haven't been to Sweet 16 in 22 years.
Colorado State controlled a lot of that game. It took, and it ended up being the miracle shot there at the end, but Colorado State had made the three-pointer with about 6 seconds to go to put them ahead, 71 to 70 at that point in time. And then it took the Derek Queen jumper there at the end to end up sealing the victory and send them off to the Sweet 16. And, that was one of the few instances of a potential upset we've seen so far in the tournament. We're now off to Sweet 16. It's all power schools, no Cinderellas. Arkansas is the only double-digit seed. Nobody's going to look at Calipari.
Scrappy underdog,
and say
John
that's
Calipari.
A scrappy underdog team. No, they're just a team that's finally figured out how good they are, and they're playing like it. But
St. John's just threw up a brick house on Saturday.
It's been more of a chalk tournament so far, which is kind of weird. You end up having better basketball in the back end because you're going to have the best of the best in the Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four, and the National Championship. But it does take a little of the fun away from the first 2 rounds because outside of McNeese, Drake, you didn't really have any crazy upsets. When you take the total amount of runs that you scored, and that wouldn't be good enough to beat the opponent in one game over the weekend, not great.
And when your bullpen ERA gets north of 7, it's probably not ideal either. And when one of your starting pitchers gets hit in the head with a ball that gets hit out of the park in batting practice and has to miss his Sunday start, meaning your midweek starter who you're going to have ready for the big midweek game against a North Carolina team that could really help your RPI, has to start instead, that puts you as the front runner for the Murphy's Law Team of the Year.